back to the Alley Ranch podcast, where it is me, myself, Big Joe,
Anthony,
and Jacob.
Don't forget, currently working toward cattleman status.
Currently working towards cattleman status.
That is a part of your name now.
the producer today is Mariah. We have her in the backgrounds behind the scenes doing producer type business for us. So, well, Joe, fill us in. It's been quite a while since we met up. Don't do that. What's been going on, Joe?
Summertime ranch things. You know, just raking the hay, baling the hay, but I don't do that. You guys do that.
Jacob, tell us about that specialty crop baler we got going. Dad rented.
Well, it's got the ability to use net wrap, which basically wraps the bale in one try real fast, about 5 seconds. And also the bale twine, which takes a little longer. But it's real slick, it's real fast, but the first day we had it, it was a pain. I was calling people who knew how to run it because it was the first time we ever had one that was a net wrap. And it took us about 2 days to get it all figured out, all the bugs out of it, and now it's slicker than snot.
That's a new one.
It runs good though, like none of the cutting problems or anything anymore. It's all good.
Nope, yeah, I called the people I bought it from and they helped me out, and now I'm an expert baler
Specialty crop baler.
guy.
Net wrap baling. That's cool. Yeah, busy summertime. Not a lot of what would the word be?
Activity?
Well, I was gonna say downtime because there's a lot of activity, but
No play.
no play, all work. That's right.
All gas, no brake.
All gas, no brakes. Stay on the gas.
Joseph, what have you been reading the past few days? You've been really into it. Why don't you give us a lowdown on that?
A book series labeled The Mysterious Benedict Society, now a TV series on Disney Plus. Probably pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Why?
Yeah. What's your beef with Disney Plus?
Oh, I watched the trailer and they just did not cast many of the characters in the best way they could. Like, the main Mr. Benedict is supposed to be an old man. They cast him as like a young hippie dude with long hair and a big brown beard. No glasses like he's supposed to.
Is he supposed to be proper?
Is he British? Are they British in the show?
They're in America.
Oh, the books are in America?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just
What is
imagined it was a British book.
Same.
So, how's he supposed to be dressed in the book?
In a green plaid suit.
Huh?
Keeps him calm. He has narcolepsy.
What's that?
Which means anytime you you can just fall asleep randomly. And
Oh.
you'll be just asleep for like different amounts of times. And most of the time he has his sleeping fits triggered by strong emotion like laughing or like happiness and sadness are what triggers
And you'll
his-
just fall asleep?
Yeah.
But it's a good book. Good book series.
Good
Yeah.
read.
Been reading them nonstop for days. I'm worried about you.
You never come see us anymore.
You're not eating. You barely sleep.
The second part is true.
You barely sleep.
Because you're reading the whole time?
You don't have a problem with eating. Oh.
Sorry.
We have the producer doing some writing on our whiteboard.
No talking.
That's how you should hold stock. You ate it again. I forgot about this stuff we would do.
I killed a mouse with that mic the other day.
Oh. So, Joseph, introduce the main topic for the day. We've done the proper amount of
BS.
bull crapping.
Beating around the bush.
Okay, go.
Today's topic will be
A familiar one.
Is it a debate or a comparison or just what's wrong with this and what's good about this?
No, it's just it's just a comparison. But yeah, all three.
Comparison of Shrek 2 and Cars 2
Which sequel
is better.
is better? Which one does better? Worse parts?
What are some things you want to do for a sequel to make
Just
the
start.
sequel
We're just gonna
good?
start on the first commandment.
Oh, talking.
Hey, okay, quit that. Went too far. So I was thinking about this the other day, like, that'd be an interesting conversation, you know? They're both, you know, well-known sequels for well-known franchises, but one is head and shoulders above the other one. Well, I mean, now I'm already making statements. I already said. Anyways,
So we'll start off with
so
the first.
we had Mariah make us a list of things she found on the internet. So
About what makes a sequel good or what.
read.
Okay, number one. Ensure that the first warrants a sequel.
So for Shrek, I'd say that at the end, you know, they get married, so then you kind of could go off of that. And then, you know, Donkey and Dragon, obviously, they're a thing.
I mean, yeah.
And
She can talk,
and
okay?
you know, a prince was supposed to rescue Fiona, so you're kind of wondering, is ogre?
It's a plot hole for
you
sure.
know? Like in the book, you know, that Shrek read.
What were you
supposed
gonna
to be
say?
Prince Charming.
Nothing. Joseph ruined it.
No, keep going. That was what I was gonna go off of.
And that's
and
not-
okay, so Cars. Yeah, I mean, you know, where is he at? Root Junk. What's that town called? It's
Radiator
yeah,
Springs.
yeah. He's at Radiator Springs, and you know now he's like a good guy. He's better than he was because in the first movie he was kind of narcissistic and all that. And he has a good relationship with his friend Mater, and what's her name? I don't know.
I don't know
haven't
what
watched
her
these
name is.
movies
I've
in a
only
while.
yeah.
The blue car. So now you can, you know, like,
Call
okay.
her Sally.
Sally.
Oh,
Yeah, her name's Sally.
yeah.
I was about to say, I don't know, but
We'll call her
I'll call
Sally.
her Sally. We'll call Sally.
So yeah, so you can see what's going on with Lightning McQueen. So I would say they both fulfill the need
Wait,
for
so
a
what-
second.
This
It's just basically ensure that the first one warrants a sequel. So what does that mean? Like make it's good enough?
Well, like,
Warrant a sequel?
is there
Is it
enough
not-
there to where you can work off of a sequel?
Oh,
Like, did
yeah.
it make a base for a franchise? Like, you know, like the Fast and Furious movies and the other ones.
Or did it just like leave enough loose ends that it
Yeah.
needs a sequel
Yeah.
to continue?
well, what's Cars then? I must have blacked out.
Cars. He was in the cup race.
Well, if he won it, or it just shows.
So he won. Well, he didn't win the race.
No, yeah, he didn't. But
You got third?
it shows like he still had paths to go on. I feel like.
So yeah, I mean he's at the prime of his racing career still. So obviously.
But
Yeah,
also,
Lightning-
I don't think it really needed a second one.
Yeah, I didn't think it really had anything to do. I mean, the entire second one is just like, I guess Mater's a spy now.
But
Well-
you know, he's a car. He drives.
Okay.
He's in races. He's got to
Any-
go higher.
You could say the same
To the
thing with
international.
Shrek. Like, hey, they're married and they're.
But there's nothing really you're looking for in like Cars 2, I guess.
Well,
I mean,
I don't
guess-
know.
Like,
I
how
mean,
much
I
more
would
did
say
you really
any
wanna know
animated
about-
movie can have a sequel, but
I
it
feel
just
like
depends on how you do it.
Well, Pixar wasn't meant to usually do sequels until Disney took them over, so that movie really could have only been a one-time thing. Anyways, the next one. Don't remake the original, is what it's saying.
And I mean, the Cars. I don't think he got. Did he get lessons taught to him? It's completely different. He's like basically fighting bad guys. Kind of, not really, but there's really bad guys in that one.
He's in
trying
Europe.
to kill him and stuff.
he goes around the world. Yeah.
Well, no, I'd say Cars 2 is different than Cars 1 because in Cars 2, now he has these established relationships with like Sally and Mater and all the people from Radiator Springs, and now they're like taking it to the next level, and he's going off and doing, you know, the European tour. So, oh yeah, I don't think
And-
they remade it. So, and they introduced characters. So, I don't know if that's gonna be something we talk about later, but
And then
I think it kind of re-goes over certain
the
things.
Shrek 2
definitely
goes
did.
on a quest again, but I mean it's not the same.
I mean, he didn't want to.
He didn't, yeah, I mean in the first one he didn't. Yeah, he wanted to, but
The Shrek 2 is definitely different. Like, Shrek 2 is like, they're figuring out, him and Fiona are trying to figure out how to be married, so it's obviously a way different thing than the first one. Because the first one was like them meeting each other, being all romantic.
Eating fly cotton candy,
Weed rat stew.
blowing up snakes and frogs.
Yeah.
They also like delved into like the magic part of the world, which in the first one they didn't go into as much except for making Donkey fly.
That's true. Yeah, and then, I mean in Cars 2, I guess he's in a totally. It's like the whole movie's different. The surroundings are different.
But
They're
you know,
not in Radiator Springs at all.
think about this. Okay, so they do go on a quest in each, and then they have like, I'm losing it. Oh, I had something good. But anyway, at the end, Lord Farquaad gets eaten. Fairy Godmother gets blown up into a bubble, and I feel like there's something like, cause like the like montage about, or I don't know montage, but like the part with the dragon when they're all running out, and it's the big action part. And then in the second one, in the factory, they're doing all that, and then they're getting out of there, and that happens too.
So you're saying they're kind of like.
It's kind of the same.
They're
thing, but
kind of
like,
redoing
there's so much
things.
more variables in the second one that are like, they get turned into a horse and a real person, and
I mean, that's crazy, honestly. That's like real transformation of the characters.
like you'd think, why didn't they turn Puss in Boots into a tiger? But like that'd be just too much for him.
That would just be like
he
he's
just got
already,
there, so
it's already pretty great already.
Yeah.
Just like turn him into a tiger and you can just destroy him.
Yeah,
Just
Okay.
start walking tiger.
What commandment did I give you guys?
Now we're on number 3.
Okay, well, it just says the audience wants something new. Like, you have to keep that in mind. Like, and that kind of went over with the second one.
That's
so.
number 3.
Yeah.
The audience wants something new. Okay, go to number 4.
The fourth one is don't dismiss what the characters, like, accomplished or did in the original movie. Which...
Well, okay. Shrek.
They talk about it.
He's still an ogre.
He's still married.
Well, I'm trying to think of like from a growth standpoint of his character. Would you say he regresses a little into ogre mode? He's still an ogre. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. What are we trying to say here? He kind of becomes
Repeat the question.
not as cold-hearted.
That's true.
like, don't dismiss what the characters did in the original. Like, you don't just, like, don't forget, like, what happened in the first movie. Like, it's not like they just, like, go back and say that Shrek, like, is a horrible person again. He has come. But we're to talk Cars 2.
Well, Cars
Did
2,
they do that?
they talk about, there's a part when, I think it's, they talk about his mentor, whatever, the guy that taught him how to drift and everything like that.
yeah.
That's in there because he died, So
That's true, yeah.
that's in there.
Because
And then,
Yeah, that part
I'm pretty
makes
sure
me
Fairy
It's a
Godmother,
callback.
in the second one talks about, how, like, you weren't supposed to rescue her, Prince Charming was. And,
references to
and they basically, like, go back to, like, him, Prince Charming was going to get her and doing basically what the book said, and then the wolf said, So.
But do you
Then
think?
the wolf
But
said.
do you think in Cars 2? I mean, in the first part, they bring up the, his old mentor. But do they keep? But don't they just? I feel like they kind of just left it at the beginning, and then after that, they just were like, "We're gonna go."
Well, you can't just keep bringing up dead characters.
I mean, they're
You
still-
give them
they're
their
still
little
Cars.
whatever. What do you think, Joe? About Cars 2, in this sense of building. Don't forget what happened in the first one. Because what really happened in the first one? To Lightning.
He just became more of a nice guy. He was less just like, I'm better than you, and he was more open to like friendships with just other people, and he like makes friends with like the Italian car in not the race car, but like Luigi's dad, and he's still really good friends with Mater, which and then that kind of.
So what happens there? Why does What happens to Lightning? Why does he freak out? Just because Mater messes up and it's a big deal?
It's because he's just kind of embarrassing him in front of a bunch of people, you know.
He's at a big old stage, though.
The producer's wondering, did Lightning McQueen regress into old behavior? I don't think so. He was just, you know.
Maybe then. I mean, he obviously he's on a bigger stage right there, and like he.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably just, you know, this is a huge opportunity for him. He's a little stressed out. And Mater's like acting like Mater, and Lightning probably, you know, Lightning doesn't know how to. He's never had to deal with Mater in like higher company before. He's just been like with his Radiator Springs hick friends. So, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty good analysis. Lightning's just more what would the word be? More compassionate.
The car.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, he got headlights, you know.
Yeah.
Now he has headlights.
He's more than stickers.
Number 5?
Number 5 is you have to take original characters forward.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we've kind of been talking about that. Mater is probably the most. I mean, Cars 2 is basically Mater 1.
Yeah.
Because it's all about Mater, just like.
Really?
Yeah. Mater's like the main character. He's like he's doing spy stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because you know, Michael Caine and girl spy, they're just like, you're just a. Everyone thinks you're just a stupid tow truck. It's the perfect disguise.
I am just a stupid tow truck.
So Mater really just, boom, goes up like many XP. He grows like exponentially.
I mean, he got rocket boost capabilities.
And like,
Lightning.
yes.
He doesn't keep that though.
And Lightning, you know, he figures out how to. He just strengthens his friendship with Mater. Sally doesn't really enter into Sally's barely in the movie at all.
She's just like
really.
at the beginning and like later.
That's a bad thing about that movie. Sally's just not in it. It seems like. I mean, maybe it's not bad, but you know,
about
she's
the
just
boys,
not a
you know?
character. It's about the boys. So,
And then,
Shrek.
Yeah.
What about Shrek?
No, he tries to, you know, you'd think being an ogre, he wouldn't try and work it out with Fiona's dad, you know, the king. And he still tries, even though.
Because he
Pretty
loves
hard.
Fiona.
Exactly.
And he wants to make her happy.
What do you think about Donkey? What happened with Donkey there?
He's still just the annoying donkey that he was.
He gets a little green with envy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because of Puss. Boots. He turns
So-
into a horse.
So
And
you
he
could
gets-
say Donkey and Shrek's relationship really was strengthened. And they added another homie.
Another person to the club that has jackets.
And if we're really going in depth, the little like fairy tale creatures like the gingerbread
Cookie
man
Man,
and the
the
wolf,
mice.
the pigs, you know, they're all like
Yeah, you all see more of
Mission
them.
Impossible dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really know anything more about them, but they're like
they're just
they're heroic.
They're
you know?
friends with Shrek now.
Yeah.
And then you find out that what's his name? The guy who made Gingerbread Man.
Ginger.
The Muffin Man. But he
Yeah,
couldn't
the
forget
Muffin
the
Man. You find out he's a G, so you know
He
he really
helps.
just helps out.
And
And you know, Mango.
he's related. So yeah, I'd say they grew the characters, the main characters in both movies. Except Sally just got left in the dust.
Original characters are franchised. Like
What's that mean?
they're the franchise, and you can't
Yeah.
just start over with characters.
Yeah.
Yep. That's solid.
Yeah. Okay.
Donkey, Shrek, Fiona. Besides Sally just got left out.
No, was Sally really a part of Cars as much?
She was
Yeah,
like
she
a
was-
major
oh,
deal
yeah,
in
she
Cars
was a part
1.
of that
She was
movie,
like
yeah.
the romantic interest of
Yeah.
old
so-
Lightning.
And then in the second one, she's at the beginning, and then
At the end.
she's not in it until like the third act, when all of the Radiator Springs people show up in Britain. Like, how did they get there though?
Lightning he flew him out. Next one.
It says embrace the mythos created by the original. Like Indiana Jones has his hat and whip. Magic, like Mad Max has his car. You know,
That's a tough
Shrek
one.
has his swamp.
Shrek has his layers.
So Shrek. So okay.
His layers.
So Shrek, I'd say, is most definitely no. We could say both of these. So Shrek is still an ogre, and he's from the swamp, and he does not like where he is. So it's like they're carrying on the spirit of
Swamp.
Shrek in the swamp into the city, and he's just like, this sucks. This is void.
I think
I miss my swamp.
in this case it would be like less like things that they take with them, but more like their personalities would be what they take with them because they
Yeah.
don't really have.
Because Donkey doesn't, you know.
They don't have possessions.
Donkeys.
They just have onion carriage.
So yeah, and Donkey's just same old Donkey, you know, like making a ruckus in the
Making
kitchen.
a mess of everything.
You know, and Lightning McQueen's still, you know, racist. I guess.
I guess for the cars too, it'd be like Mater.
Yeah,
Mater's like, his mythos is a problem because he's just like, I'm a tow truck from Radiator Springs. And that's not
the cable guy.
Whoa. You know, it is kind of crazy. Like,
They
Shrek
both-
and Cars both in the second movie go to like high class societies,
And
and
they both have
Lightning knows how to deal with it because he's like, I've been in this. But, you know, Shrek and Donkey don't know.
But Fiona does.
Fiona does. Mater's
Yeah,
just
that was
like,
kind of weird though. Fiona was like never there, you know. She
No, she
got
was
sent-
there
well,
until she was like 9, maybe.
Oh,
she
yes.
grew up, she
it's a
knows
long
the
time
ins
being
and
by
outs.
yourself, though.
How
I
old
think
is
that
she?
should be
though?
really weird after that.
30?
You'd think
Great
she'd just
suit,
be
Mrs. Q.
kind of weird.
Mmm.
Well, she apparently became a black belt in like karate when she was in this castle. Probably some.
She
I
she
swear
could have
she
just
was.
broke that door down and killed the dragon herself if she wanted to.
Yes,
Like a
producer.
mytho isn't just like it's not like just an item. It can be like the history or like a line, like something they say all the time,
Hold the phone.
You see
Oh
that?
yeah.
or like an attitude that they have.
Yeah, well, Mater does all Mater things. Shrek does Shrek,
Shrek
things.
things.
Donkey's
Doing
donkey, just doing dumb stuff.
It's just being the stupid.
Lightning McQueen is still just kind of, I don't know. I mean,
It's funny that both of those movies have like the secondary character, like the second main character, is a like popular comedian.
that's funny.
You want the next one?
You know, Mike Myers is, well, nah, I don't know. He's not like stand up though. Anyways,
The next one is don't reinvent the wheel. Like, don't try and like change the franchise. Like they have like something here is like they have is like this one movie like what is it called? They change it from like the Gremlins. They change it from like a horror movie with a little bit of comedy to like a African American comedy with like I don't know that
why
like,
African American comedy?
I don't know. That's just what it says.
Okay.
You shouldn't write wrote that.
You shouldn't need to say that.
So is it
Okay.
What's she saying?
Nothing.
No,
I don't know. It's saying don't reinvent the wheel. Don't just straight up change genres. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, like what this like they said like as a example like one of them went from like a historic like kind of like almost an immortal feeling to like then they like skipped into like the future with like all these high tech stuff to where they were like since like they were from the 1800s and then they're like oh in the sequel they're gonna be like from the 3000s.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Like
they
they're-
really changed it. Just
Yeah.
they went up. They went up.
I don't
Big-
think that applies to either of these movies.
Yeah, yeah, they did a good job.
I mean, they're just in different parts of the world, you know.
Yeah, they're
Basically in Hicktown, and then they're not.
basically just the same
They just basically get plopped into like
different
higher consequence situations. Okay.
The ninth one is the sequel is only as good as its villain.
Ooh, okay. Now we can get into the villains. Fairy Godmother's amazing.
She is
She's great.
a great villain.
Prince Charming is good too. He's like the side. He's like, you know, the other bad guy that ends up not being as bad.
He's a pretty terrible villain in the game though.
Cars 2, all in all British Lemon,
Not
not
bad.
great.
But it's kind of interesting.
Francesco the race car, he's funny.
He's a better villain than the main
I
villain.
like him. So let's go into Fairy Godmother. What were her motivations, Joe? What's she thinking?
She's thinking, this stupid ogre just stole the kingdom from my son, and I don't like that. So then she just made up a plan to take the odor, to take the odor out of the scenario.
The odor of the ogre. So if you were to say, let's say like before this, so what am I trying to say? So Fairy Godmother thinks she's a good guy. What's going through her head? Why is she like in the right with what she's doing?
Because in no other fairy tale she's ever dealt with has the ogre been the good guy. It's always been the villain in itself, so she feels righteous in her trying to get rid of Shrek, thinking that he has just ruined the good guy's happily ever after.
Oh. So she's going in there with some heavy, preconceived notions, and she can't really heavy. Envy.
Jealousy?
Yeah. I mean, he ruined her son's future. Now he's just kind of a loser guy.
I mean, and who knows? She could have been. She might either she felt that way, or she just was did some what's the word? Anyway, or she could have been the person who cursed Fiona originally to make her turn into an ogre at night, and that would make it so that
her son
would eventually end up with her and have the kingdom.
So she could have been like the grand master behind the whole thing of making Fiona the ogre, just so her son could be Prince Charming and go save her, and then he could be king.
Isn't that what it was?
Does it? I don't think it ever specifies that she was the person who did that.
Her.
She did. Because remember, well, she doesn't say it, but she said, "Remember what I did for you, Harold?"
No.
And then, well, I'm guessing that.
No, you're thinking of a different thing.
No,
What?
because
No,
Harold
He used to be a
I'm
frog.
Thinking, no, I know, but I'm thinking like, what if she was like, what if that was like, what if Fiona was like, the word for like, you get a loan and like they're saying we're gonna take your car if you do this.
She got blackmailed.
No, that's not it.
she
But
was
I mean,
collateral.
yeah,
Oh, collateral damage. So
like.
I'll turn you into a human, but your firstborn daughter
No, I
is
guess
going to
I
become
don't know.
a
I kind of thought
ogre.
about that way too much, but.
So the thing with Harold,
Not getting it.
kind of like a vulture Spider-Man feel. What's that mean?
Like the Vulture from the Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah, from Homecoming. He's
Like-
a really good villain. So he was like the
He's
vulture dude, Michael Keaton from the old Batman movies. He was just like a construction dude, or he was doing something before the Avengers, and
Yeah.
then they like ruined.
they ruined a bunch of like New York City, and they were like getting a bunch of business, like taking out all of the rubble and like fixing everything. But then Tony Stark hires the like government officials to do all of that work themselves. So all of like the small businesses, like the Vulture dude.
So he's actually really, got good. It's not good motivations.
What's that got to do with Shrek 2?
Mariah's just saying that Fairy Godmother, like,
as a motive, like
did that
yeah.
for herself. Is that what you mean?
More like she had a plan for her son.
yeah, like it's like a noble. I guess not noble, but like she's complex. I guess is what Mariah is saying. Like the Vulture guy was just a small time businessman, and then Tony Stark ruined it. So now he's just like, well, I hate the government. Now you messed up my job, so I'm gonna take you out. And Fairy Godmother's like, Harold, I helped you out. I made you a human. Then this ogre guy comes in, and you're not really helping me. I'm gonna have to take things into my own hands. And what about
Unless you help me.
so now transition. Tell us about I don't even know his name. Axelrod, yeah, Sir Axelrod.
Oh,
From
I
Cars
forgot
2.
that's who was in.
What about him, Joe? What's he saying?
What do you mean? What's he saying? What are his motives?
Yeah.
Is he part of the Lemon
Do you
people?
Yes.
Really, it doesn't.
He's like the mastermind.
He doesn't seem to have like
You don't remember why?
other than lemons being oppressed.
Well, he was a lemon.
I know.
And he got turned into a race car?
No,
No,
he
no,
was
he-
he was a lemon and he always needed work done, so he was trying to like destroy all the other like.
Wait, so is this guy that races?
No.
No, he's not a guy
No,
that races.
that's Francesco, the Italian. No, so he's the guy behind. He was the guy who was like had the fuel company and he was having all the cars use the all-in-all fuel because it's like whatever
He had
better
a
for the
electromagnetic,
environment.
and then and he convinced everybody that it was better, and then he convinced everybody to like have it be like the sponsor fuel for this big race, like at the end of like the World Cup. So then all the racers were using it, so he was going to use that as like, because he's actually a lemon and who has a bad engine and stuff, he wanted to use that as like a way to get people to like stop trusting alternative fuel.
Because he was probably a part of like the actual like regular fuel stuff, like oils
Yeah.
and stuff, wasn't it?
And I think it possibly just him being bitter about
Yeah.
being made badly, and he's like, look at all these perfect cars.
They're like oppressed lemons because they're
Yeah.
looked down upon because they have bad engines.
It's just a little commie.
Yeah, it's I mean it's not the
It's not the
most
best.
complex or really like
Interesting.
best motives. It's just kind of like
And then if we were going into the secondary bad guys, Prince Charming's just kind of like a dumb jock dude who doesn't do much.
Mama's boy.
He's a mama's boy, and then Francesco, he's just racing. He's just kind of arrogant. He's not really a bad guy. He's just Lightning's rival, and he talks crap to him. Yeah. He ruined ethanol. To make people go back to gas. A hit on road life. What does that mean?
Real life.
Real life. Make people go back to gas. What's ethanol? What do you mean?
it would be all in all.
All
Yeah,
in.
all in all.
Oh,
sorry.
all in all. Oh, I see. Okay. So why? Is he an opponent of electric cars or something?
I don't
Well,
remember.
was it him?
I don't
He-
remember it explaining that he owned any sort of.
No, he owns all in all. Sir
Yeah,
Axelrod is the one that's in charge of the.
Yes. Would you like to finish?
I don't know if I want to finish if you're gonna keep making those faces every time I try and help you guys. with
Now we
this.
want to know
Continue.
what you were going to say.
Yeah, go.
Sir Axelrod is the one that's in charge of the Grand Prix races, and it's all to help him with his all in all things. So they're all using all in all, but throughout all the races, they're all like blowing up, and everyone's like having problems. And he's the one that created all in all, and he's like, no, all in all isn't the problem. But in the end of the movie, you find out he created all in all to where once you get up so high, your transmission's gonna explode and you will die. So and then because he owns all the oil rigs. All the lemons are in like on this big coupe, and they all own the oil rig. So when all in all falls out, everyone's not gonna trust any other new like gas that comes out, and they're all just gonna go back to normal gas.
But do they really explain that they own the oil?
Yeah,
think they
yeah,
do.
Yeah, he
they
does.
do.
He does.
What-
It all makes sense now. I haven't watched this movie in like almost 2 years.
It's been a long time.
I mean,
I probably should have watched
it might
You're
not
right.
have been long enough. Honestly.
So yeah, okay, it makes sense. Yeah, he's an oil tycoon, so he just did it. It's a big conspiracy. So now he's just gonna make a butt ton of money. Okay. There's no number 10.
Number 10 was asking certain questions like, did the characters like overcome what they did in the past movies? Are they going up against someone strong? It was just let me see.
Doesn't seem important.
It was let me see what the name of it was, because I didn't think it was that important either.
Joseph, Shrek 2 or Cars 2?
Like, what conflicts can you throw at them? What did they accomplish in the original? What did they learn from that accomplishment? How they deal with that challenge and conflict that you threw at them in the
Okay.
second one.
Not
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we could talk about it. I mean,
Mater-
Shrek learns how to
Mater-
deal with Donkey by yelling at him.
Shrek beat Donkey. Shrek and Donkey overcame Mama Godmother, who was a witch, basically, so that's cool. That's pretty big time. More big time than little midget Farquaad dude. And then Mater, unfoils a huge conspiracy, so he basically, he did everything.
Who do
Lightning
you-
just was, winning races, but not really, because Lightning basically just got saved because his hippie friend wouldn't let him He never put all in his fuel.
Yeah.
He was giving him his hippie fuel.
The hippie dude didn't do it, but like the
Major.
the patriotic dude.
Oh,
Who's that?
the general, the green
Sarge.
Jeep dude.
Because
Sorry.
he hated the hippie dude.
Hey,
Like, they
don't
didn't like each other.
Shrek 2 or Cars 2?
Shrek 2.
Shrek 2.
Well, I guess the bigger question is, which one had the better villain?
Shrek
that's-
2.
Shrek 2. Shrek 2 did everything better.
It's all around better.
The villains are better.
Well, can you explain why the villains are better and why?
We just explained why the villains are better. We
You
did a whole thing about the villains.
You just explained what each of them did, but you didn't explain what they, like, specifically which one did it better. You guys just went into detail about each one. I just want to
Which one was closer to achieving their plan? Fairy Godmother. It was that close to ruining Shrek forever.
Well, you know, the thing is, though, Harold didn't give Fiona the cup. He gave himself, but then
Whoa.
General Guy did the same thing to...
Yeah, whoa! That's a wicked parallel.
I just keep on throwing it out there.
That's so true. So,
It's just
if these side characters wouldn't have, like, been, true friends, then it would all be lost. Lightning would have got blown up. Fiona would have kissed Prince Charming, and it would have all been over.
Now, what if we should have done this comparison on movies that weren't made by the same people?
They weren't made by the
They
same
weren't?
people.
DreamWorks and Pixar are different.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought they were, like, together.
Which one do you think was aimed more towards adult audiences?
Shrek 2.
Shrek 2.
Shrek 2 is just...
Shrek movies are just...
Cars is Pixar, so Pixar's gonna be more formulaic and
Do you
for
think
children.
Pixar did a good job on? I mean, they usually are really good, like, life problems, but do you think that they did a good job making this more relatable to people?
It was basically just like a loyalty towards friends. It was like...
Well,
like
and it
side
was,
moral toward with
Mater
and Lightning.
Mater also, like, he grew up a lot. At first he was just dumb, and now he's like a reliable guy who can figure stuff out, and he's smart, like, so, I don't know, you can do anything, you can be better than what you are. That's pretty good. Shrek 2 is like marriage stuff, so yeah, that's pretty adult.
Did you guys know that Dragon was actually supposed to save them out of prison?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I
But
didn't
since
want
she
to
was
do that again, though.
because she was pregnant, and they were like, well, we can't. It'd be like a plot hole or too obvious to have her show up to save them. So they just instead had the gang help them out.
Yeah, and plus, what would she look like if Donkey drunk the potion?
Yeah, exactly.
And Shrek
Well, they
had
oh no, that was they were gonna have her
Ooh.
show up as a Pegasus with like wings, but it'd be too
Oh.
obvious that she was a pregnant Pegasus.
How'd she become a pregnant Pegasus?
Well, because
Or Pegasus.
because
Because your
they-
pairs.
your
Your
pair
parents
Shrek drank the
Oh,
potion
yeah.
and turned Fiona into herself.
yeah, that was
again.
it was a big plot hole, and everyone was talking about it when it came
Oh,
out.
I'm glad they used the gangs. That was way funnier.
Yeah, that's way better,
What's this? The
Well, they
that's
could have had
not-
him. They could have had him show up.
Had her show up at the end.
No, like had him ride in on her. Like she's just a big Pegasus.
What time are we at,
Like,
Brian?
huge.
I think I paused it. I think I didn't start it right away. But you're at 39, 38?
We better call it from my phone rings on the story.
Anyways,
I think we went pretty in depth into the movies.
what about Mongo? You guys missed
Oh
it.
yes, we need to talk about Mongo real quick.
Quick Mongo time.
Mongo is what you would call a
Deus Ex Machina.
Yep.
What's that?
It's Latin for like God machine. I don't know why, but it's basically like it's what you use in the plot when it's just like we don't know how else to resolve this in like a cool or clever way, so we're just gonna get like a god character to come in and just break in. So they're like, we need a Mongo, we need a giant cookie man to just they weren't gonna storm the castle with their little ragtag fairy tale group.
Do you think they had a Deus Ex Machina in Cars 2?
The Mater.
The Gatling gun.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The
The
Gatling.
Gatling
Well,
gun.
I mean, not really, because it was already like that's
Set
not
up.
really the same thing because you already knew it was gonna he had capabilities, he just didn't know about it. But I guess it's kind of the same because they're like, hey, you have Mr. What's his name, Muffin Man. But I mean, no, he's not gonna make a giant gingerbread man.
How dare you?
I told you to put that on vibrate. Okay, yeah, Mongo was a good character.
You might not be coming back.
All right.
After you, Mongo.
You guys gonna sign off?
Got to go, Jacob.
What's that?
After you, Mongo.
What am I supposed to say? Oh,
I think
thanks
we're
for
signing
watching. It was a great time with the boys and the producer lady.
It was a good
Mariah.
one. Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
I'm sorry you didn't get to see the boys, Koba and Oda,
Yeah, they're out. You know,
doing kitty things.
Yeah.
Probably kitties.
like and subscribe.
Have a good time.
Cage Giant Rights.
Shabbat.